Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Shinrin Yoku, and Sacred Geography, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Friday, January 6th, around 6 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. Kilauea is re-erupting around 4:30 p.m. yesterday. Kilauea Volcano began re-erupting in spectacular fashion. A major lava lake is now visible on the surface. As predicted, the experts were saying it was not going to erupt, that the seismic swarm was simply an artifact of the last eruption, but oh, were they wrong. And we nailed it. The big story, September saw a 13-year high for potentially deadly natural avalanches and an all-time record for human-caused ones across Colorado. Keep calm. It's avalanche time. Active snowfall following dry conditions has increased Colorado's avalanche risk, and we've gotten tons of snow. And just moments ago, a skier triggers an avalanche large enough to kill on a closed run at a Colorado resort. So the avalanche threat is real. It is considerable in the Rocky Mountain National Park and across Colorado today and all over the West, I'm sure the Sierras as well. Now, rain and flooding and snow as deadly atmospheric river crushes California.
Well, the West is being hit hard as a deadly atmospheric river over the Pacific Ocean pumps moisture inland in the form of rain and snow. Now, along the Northern California coastline, multiple piers in Santa Cruz County collapsed as just these huge waves broke over them. At Seacliff Beach State Park in Santa Cruz County, a well-known cement ship also broke away from the pier. Now, Surfline was reporting swells between 30 and 40 feet just offshore. It takes some huge wind to create swells like that, and that wind, of course, also created some damage. It knocked down power lines and trees in San Mateo County, that's in California. Homes and businesses were also damaged by the wind and some of the downed trees as well. Now, more than 150,000 California customers were without power as a result. In El Granada, runoff from heavy rain combined with storm surge on the coast left a lot of roads flooded and covered in wet debris. Travel across the state obviously was impacted because of flooded roads. Also plenty of snow in the mountainous areas like you see here at Donner Pass. That was making travel pretty tricky up in the higher terrain. Neighborhoods in multiple California towns were placed under evacuation orders due to river flooding, particularly along the Russian River in Sonoma County. Now, rain and snow will continue as the storm progresses through the weekend, and there's a pretty good chance that another atmospheric river event is in store next week. So
there's a very good chance it's going to actually be a 1-2 punch as another storm threatens. More heavy rain in California and the West Coast areas already reeling from flooding. And if you were watching that video closely, you saw in Sonoma that a lot of the vineyards are currently underwater. So bad news for wine country. As snowpack and seasonal snowfall, cool weekend, but milder next week in Minnesota. Much of the state covered in over a foot of snow, and they are now on day 3 of a snow emergency in Minneapolis.
Underway this morning at 8, and some neighborhoods are still looking for a lot of help to get rid of all that snow. That means a third day of some pretty frustrated residents. Our Pauline Lee live in Minneapolis with what they had to say, and they had an earful.
Oh, didn't they? All you can do is day 3, and it's finally Friday, right? This is what some of the streets look like here in South Minneapolis. As you can see, just to give you some reference, I'm about 5'4¼ tall. The snow pile is already taller than I am. So that makes it difficult, for one, to just get around it. But two, you look at this and you're already tired. By the way, we also found this. We have a car park casualty. Someone lost something as they were trying to dig out, and it's going to be more of the same today. Because if you look at this side of the street, this is the even side. This has not been plowed yet. This is going to be plowed today. So actually, this is the odd side, excuse me. So park your cars on the even side because that's already been plowed. Take a look at how at least passable that is, right? So day 3, you're going to have to get those shovels out again. They're going to be working overtime today. Whether it's going to be clearing your driveways based on what the city plows have already pushed back into your driveways as they're still trying to clear the roads, or maybe you're trying to unstuck your car, maybe help out your neighbor unstuck their car. Progress being made, but...
So as we reported yesterday, this is the 13th largest snowstorm in Minneapolis history in St. Paul. And they're on the 3rd day of clearing out. You can see here the snow is covering all of those communities. And because it's so cold up there, it's not melting or going anywhere. You have to physically move it. Now they're digging out of Del Rapids as well in South Dakota. after 26.5 inches of snow fell there. And it's going to take a while to move that snow. As a quick hitting round of snow blankets New England, on Friday, there'll be snow in New Jersey, maybe up to 2 inches in some areas. And the heaviest snow is expected north and west of Boston. As snow moves into Maine, it's insane. Pacific storm continues to track across the west. Heavy rain and high elevation snow, strong winds will continue to affect the western states through the weekend and into early next week. We'll get to that detailed forecast in just a moment. Threats from flash flooding, mud, and rock slides. Heavy snowfall and damaging gusty winds are in the forecast. Meanwhile, a storm system is forecast to track across the plains and eastern seaboard this weekend with showers, some wintry mix for the Ohio Valley and the Northeast like a beast. Here is that system. Take a look at this. Next atmospheric river moving into the west here. It's going to be affecting the Pacific Northwest on Saturday and into Sunday. Saturday and Sunday, that'll be your fun day in the Sierras. That's where the heaviest snow on Sunday will be coming down in the North Sierras there. And that system will be moving out by Monday. And then the next bigger system moving in Monday to the west is going to be the potential game changer here with massive flooding rains, heavy Sierra cement up in the high elevations, and there will be some flooding threats Tuesday, January 10th, all day through Wednesday. Look at that. Amazing amounts of moisture coming into the west. And the totals, they are not schmodals. They are amazing. Here is that little system moving through New England here Saturday, Sunday. Not much happening until Monday morning there. Take a look at that system moves up in the northeast while heavy snow falling in the west. And that is just going to increase to epic. I mean, this is showing 6 feet across the entire Sierra crest. So heads up, more Sierra cement coming and a record season is developing. As we're over in Europe after the record-breaking one-day heat wave on New Year's Day, it's looking like the winter is back and it's going to cool out and get cooler and cooler through mid-January as the snow slowly covers areas that are snow-free currently. In the Alps, picking up some heavy snow moving through the third week. Take a look at that. Of January, as well as the UK. They are not going to be without snow in January. Seismic update. No quakes of note. But there is an interesting rocker here on the southern tip of Greenland, and let us get a close-up view of what's happening at Kilauea, where the ongoing eruption that began just about 24 hours ago is happening now. So what we want to do here is look at a few more earthquakes, all quakes today, all magnitude. There is the Kilauea caldera. You could see a couple dozen events, a little bit of seismic activity down here. Offshore here where the Helena slump is. So keeping a close eye on this all for you as Hawaii's Kilauea volcano once again erupting. The volcano, one of the world's most active, had recently erupted between September 2021 and last month, but briefly stopped. And now, well, it is going strong. You can come over to Two Pineapples here and get the live stream, multiple angles of the newest eruption of Kilauea. Give them a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tell them Oppenheimer Ranch sent you. We would appreciate that. Worldwide Volcano News Update. Well, we know about Kilauea. Not much more exciting. Shivalush puffing to 14,000 feet. Sabancaya to 24,000. Popo to 22. Anything else interesting? Cotopaxi is not on the immediate list. Cleveland Volcano. The volcanic alert level has been lowered to green as Villarrica with a little puff there. And there's a nice vigorous explosion from Sakurajima. So that is the Worldwide Volcano News Update, as the underground secrets of Hawaii's most notorious volcanoes are now believed to be connected. If you guys were unaware, Mauna Loa just erupted for the first time in many decades. But now scientists are saying that the magma chambers for Mauna Loa and Kilauea may be interconnected deep underground. And the complex system of chambers underneath Hawaii's Big Island could be responsible for many of the earthquake swarms since 2018. So that's an interesting development. Kilauea and Mauna Loa are connected at depth. Space Weather News Update. We're here at Solarham after we had an impulsive X 1.2 solar flare yesterday kick off the sun on a new sunspot region that just rotated into view, and that is this bright active region right there which we can come over here and see is active region 3182. Now let's look at the latest HMI intensity and just see exactly where that spot is. And that has moved way across the disk. In another day or so, it will be geo-effectively facing us. But the good news is that very little activity is coming from any sunspots. The sun has been down in C range now for 24 hours after that impulsive X flare. So all is quiet currently on the sun. Now, there is a new climate reality. This is coming from the Washington Post of all rags. They are claiming now that there is less warming, but the impacts will be worse. Man, the fear-mongering does not end. But what's interesting is they can't deny that there has been no warming for the last decade. And in fact, they are conceding here the most severe climate change scenarios now appear less likely. But now they're saying extremes are poised to overwhelm societies, scientists say. Survey says, shut up, Al, get in your hole. That's what my survey says. Now, study finds science is becoming less innovative. Pretty similar to climate science, huh? And all science. Look at it. It is just literally falling off a cliff into nonsensical obscurity. This is because multinational corporations control the narrative when it comes to science, and any new breakthroughs are crushed to prevent losing any profits. Speaking about profits, Greta Thunberg statue costing a staggering 24,000 pounds at a university sparks outrage, even from the woke tards. Now, who would waste 24 grand on a propaganda piece of clickbait like Greta Thunberg? We are going to look back in the future on this moment in history and be very embarrassed about humanity. Or will we? Because experts are worried that elderly billionaires will become immortal, compounding wealth forever and ever keeping us in their clutches. What say you? Now, a psychology expert in Finland, the #1 happiest country in the world, says there are 3 things they never do in Finland, and that's why you're so miserable. Number 1, they don't compare themselves to their neighbors. Number 2, they don't overlook the benefits of nature. Shinrin-yoku much? And number 3, they don't break the community circle of trust. Without community, there is nothing. And that's a boon to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe.